Hey folks, how are you? Welcome back to Vegas. I am Matt Peralt here on PlayPicks.com. Back for the Cotton Bowl now. National Championship semifinal. Clemson taking on Notre Dame. But before I break down that football game and tell you who I like in this game, you're going to go to PlayPicks.com/bonus. PlayPicks.com/bonus or DKPicks.com. Free, no deposit bonuses, $25 in free plays. Great opportunities to cash, make some money with us. I'm 6-3 in my bowl picks. I went 4-0 in the first week. A little bit of a setback, 2-3 in the second week, but we're back on the horse. We're going to back to making some more money here coming up for the National Championship semifinals. And while you're here, click subscribe, follow along, tell us what you think. Tell me who you think this bowl game is going to be won by. If you like Notre Dame, you like Clemson, tell me in the comment section. Hit subscribe. Help us get to 1,000 before the end of the year, right? We're getting really close. You could be our 1,000 subscriber, and we'd love you forever. So do us a favor, click on it, and then tell me who you like for Notre Dame and for Clemson. So what we do here, what we do every video, is that we're trying to give you as much information as possible for this matchup. Whether you have a bias or a lean, I might give you some information. You might go, aha, and that's why you like a play. So I'll tell you my pick, but I'm giving you all the info, kind of overloading you with information so you can figure this out and make a play and pick this game the way you want to pick this game and the way you might think is going to happen. So real easy. Subscribe, like the vid, tell us what you think about it, tell us about the comment section and everything else. Okay, let's get to the Cotton Bowl. Weather. It's in Arlington. It's in Dallas. No weather. Track's going to be fast. Rocking house. There were some arguments about who should go to these bowl games, who should be there and blah, 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 whatever, who cares? It's now Notre Dame and Clemson. We know the Irish are showing up, and we know Clemson fans have traveled really well in the past, so no problems. This game is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be really loud, really, really exciting to see how this game's going to go. All right, Clemson's 12-0. In the regular season, 7-0 at home, 5-0 on the road. They won the ACC championship game. They won it really easily. They're 7-6 against the spread this year. As I mentioned last time against Pittsburgh, last game out, they won by 32 points as 27-point favorites, so they covered a big line there. Tigers have been seen pretty much as the second best team in the country all year long. Dabo Swinney's club is really, really talented. They were only tested at home by Syracuse and on the road at Texas A&M. They won both those games. The under has hit 7 times this year, and even with the great offense, the under has come in here 7 times out of the 13 games so far for the Clemson Tigers. Other side, Notre Dame, 12-0 on the season, 6-0 at home, 4-0 on the road, 2-0 neutral, 6-4-2 against the spread. They're making the playoffs thanks to being, undefeated and being Notre Dame. Some might argue that we don't have an 8-team playoff with auto bids because of Notre Dame. They have a marquee win over Michigan, but they beat Syracuse by 33 points. That's a common opponent between these two teams, but Eric Dungey got hurt in that game early in New York on a neutral field. It got away from the Orange really early in that game. I was on Syracuse in the over, and it was a blowout win for the Irish, and the under hit, so that stunk. 6-6 with the total on over-under this year. Last 2 games have gone under, though, for the Irish. Lines, DraftKings, currently right now, Clemson minus 12.5. That's minus 110. Also minus 110 for Clemson, for the Irish, plus 12.5 if you like that. Total is 55, minus 110 there. Money line, the Irish, plus 350. 350 and Clemson minus 455. My God, you're going to lay $455 to win 100. Taking Clemson to win this game on the money line. At FanDuel, it's plus 13. It's minus 105 for the Irish at plus 13. If you like Clemson minus 13, it's minus 115. A little more juice to take Clemson. Total's still 55 there, plus 350 for the Irish. Same value on the dog, but even worse for Clemson, minus 470. You got to lay $470 if you want to win $100 for taking Clemson on the money line. For injuries, Irish aren't dealing with any major injuries to talk about. Nothing really significant. However, we did learn that backup quarterback Brendan Wimbush will be transferring after this game. So nothing really for this game, but in the future, Wimbush is going to leave. Ian Book won the job. Ian Book's going to be the quarterback for the future for a while now for the Irish. Wimbush could play in this game if an injury happened or whatnot, but for this game in particular, not really that big of a storyline that Wimbush is going to be transferring somewhere else. Complete opposite on Clemson. So this week, Clemson made the announcement. Dabo Swinney said that star defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence tested positive for a banned substance. It is listed on the NCAA's banned substances list as an anabolic agent. Him and 2 other Clemson Tigers tested positive for the same anabolic agent. Uh-oh. Now, Clemson's depth is there on the defensive line. I don't think this is that big of a story for this game. It's a major story for next game if they take on Alabama in the championship game. But for this game, not that big of a deal, but definitely something to watch if coming up Clemson wins this game, that they could be without Dexter Lawrence, who's a star football player. Huge deal, huge defensive lineman, defensive tackle who chews up 1 or 2 linemen every single play on the offensive side. He's a guy you don't want to go into a game against Bama without. But for this game, they've got the depth to kind of handle this. We won't know about this story for sure until the B sample comes back. And at the time of taping here, we do not know what the B sample will come back with. But if the B sample is the same, he's ineligible for the rest of the year. And Dexter Lawrence's career is in jeopardy here with Clemson. So that is something to watch down the line. But for this game, most likely he's going to be out for the Clemson Tigers. All right, offensive stats for Clemson. They've scored 45.2 points per game. That's 4th in the country. They're 4th in total yards per game at 529 yards per game. 7.2 yards per play, 3rd in the country. 6.7 yards per rush, 1st in the country, and a whopping 260 yards rushing per game. Wowzer. That offensive line is good for Clemson. 8.1 yards per pass play, 28th in the country, 4th in the country in points per play. They score fast. Trevor Lawrence, 24 touchdown tosses to 4 interceptions. It's the first Cotton Bowl for Clemson since taking on Boston College at the 1940 version of this football game. It's been a while for Clemson to be a part of the Cotton Bowl. For the Irish on offense, 33.8 points per game, 25th in the country, 21st in total yards per game, 6.1 yards per play, that's 24th in the country, 4.6 yards per rush, 45th in the country, 8.3 yards per pass play, that's 20th in the country, 27th in yards per game overall. Ian Book, since taking over for the Wake Forest game, 5-4 against the number, but they haven't played an elite team since the first week. Irish, you can argue about their level of talent, who they've seen. It's okay. Clemson's schedule is definitely more difficult, I would think, than the Irish's. On defense, and these numbers are eye-popping for both these teams. This is why they're in this game. First for Clemson, 14.2 points per game given up, 3rd best. 4th in yards given up per game. Number 1 in the country, yards per play. 2.4 yards per rush given up, number 1 in the country. 91 yards per game given up rushing, that's 2nd best in the country. 26 in passing yards given up, though, but there's a reason for that. Clemson's had a lead for almost every game that's been significant. Teams have to throw. They can't run. They abandon the run. They throw. That's why those numbers are a little bit suspect, but they're 2nd in sack percentage. They get after the quarterback. When you are passing, look out. Here comes Clemson. They're going to run you over with their defensive line and linebackers. For Notre Dame, 17.2 points per game given up. That's 9th best. 4.4 yards per play. 7th best. 19 in yards per game given up. 3.7 yards per rush. It's 33rd best in the country, but 5.4 yards per pass play. 2nd best in the country. This secondary for the Irish is legit. 29th in yards per pass play given up. 57th in sacks percentage. It's okay. They don't get after the quarterback all that much. They kind of drop back and play coverage, and they've got great defensive backs and linebackers who get back into coverage, and that's really where they make their money on defense. Both these teams are very good defensively. All right, so for the total, let's make a case for the over. Maybe you like the over. Clemson, they can score, and they can score fast, right? How many times did they get up and down the field? Travis Etienne is unbelievable. 260 yards rushing. This team is going to run on a defense that's not great at stopping the run. Clemson's going to score. The question will be, how many points will the Irish score? And Notre Dame, over the last 5 games, they didn't score less than 24 points. So Ian Book has to show the ability to put points up on the board. Scored 45 against Va Tech, 44 versus Navy. So they can score, all right? So they can move the ball. They can score. They're going to have to. If you like the over, you have to expect the Irish to be able to put points up on that Clemson defense. On the under side, make a case for the under. Look, these are two of the best defenses in the country going after it. It's going to be really hard. Even if Dexter Lawrence doesn't play for Clemson, for the Irish to score, I don't know. How many points do you think they're going to score? This defense does not allow you to do much against them. And in big games and in big moments on big stages, whoa, Dabo Swinney with a month to prep. It's going to be really hard for Ian Book, I think, to score. So on that level, I think the under could just come down to, I don't think, how many points do you think the Irish score? Do they get to 14, 17? If they don't, the under is going to be in play for sure. At 55, the under is 100% in play here for this game. All right, for picks here on this one, this comes down to Ian Book. If you're an Irish fan, you have to think Ian Book's going to play the game of his life. If he does, the Irish can win. But the numbers indicate that nobody thinks that's going to happen. So I'm going to roll here and lay the points with Clemson. They're too good. They're too talented. They run the ball. And the thing that the Irish defense, what they take away, the Irish take away the pass. They're not great against the run. They're facing arguably the best running team in the country. Antonette's going to go off, I think. Big plays. I see this game getting away from Notre Dame. I'm going to lay the 12.5 here. I'm going to take Clemson, and I think I'm going to take the under too. I'm taking the under. I think this game's a blowout. I think Clemson's all over the Irish. I don't think Notre Dame has played the same level of competition. I don't think they recruit at the same level that Dabo Swinney recruits at. The depth, the waves of talent. As long as Trevor Lawrence doesn't completely fall on his face and throw interceptions, because he will have to pass at times, as long as he's not making major mistakes, as long as he plays well enough, this is a game that could be a 31-10 type of final. I don't think the Irish are going to score very much at all. I don't trust their offense. And even without Lawrence, I think they've got the depth and the talent on that side of the ball to make life miserable for Notre Dame. I just think they're facing too much talent on that side of the football. I'm going to lay the points. Clemson minus 12.5, under a 55 in the Cotton Bowl. All right, I'm Matt Peralt. Go to DKPicks.com and go to playpicks.com/bonus. Two great websites, no deposit bonuses, $25 in free plays over at DraftKings. Why not do that? Click subscribe as well. And if you think I'm nuts, if you're an Irish fan and you love your team and you're laying you're taking the dog here and you're gonna maybe money line it, tell me why. If you're going to take the 12.5 points, 13 points, and say, hey, it's too many points. The Irish, they're undefeated. They're 12-0. Too many points. Us versus the world. That is 100% going to be Brian Kelly's mantra to his team the entire month. Nobody expects you to be in this football game. And that's a dangerous thing, right? That's a dangerous, awesome, motivating factor for a program that has not lost yet. I just don't think their offense can hang. And maybe it's a close game in the first half, but in the second half, talent and talent depth wins out. Clemson moves on to the national championship game where they're most likely going to face a very familiar foe. That pick will come in a different video, however. Click subscribe. Stay with us. We're killing it in bowl season. Matt Brown's crushing it in the NFL. Click subscribe. You won't miss any of the action as we come up with these great free videos, free picks right here on playpicks.com.